talking about a home. Talking about me and you. Things we'll do. I said a home. Talking about a home. Not talking about a one-night stand. I wanna be your man. I said a home.
From the people who bring you Charleston Home and Design Magazine, the Charleston Home and Design Show, the Custom Home and Remodel Show, and Charleston's online home show, newhomecharleston.com, this is Talking About a Home. Talking About a Home is a home show on the radio, featuring interviews with local experts, home tips, trends, and ideas you need to know to make your home better. I'm Michael Blaze with 5 Star Real Estate, and this is Talking About a Home.
Good afternoon. I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I want to thank you for listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. In addition to our radio show, Talking About a Home, we also publish Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and you may also be familiar with the 3 custom home shows we organize: the Charleston Home and Design Show, which takes place every January, Charleston's only open-air home show, which takes place every April at Family Circle Stadium on Daniel Island, and the Custom Home and Remodel Show and Hurricane Expo, which takes place every August. Well, today we've got a great show lined up for you. Today's radio show is coming to you from Domain Interiors and Design, and we'll be talking to Bobby Joe, the owner of Domain, in just a couple of minutes. But I wanted to also have a word with Christy Conway, our editor at Charleston Home and Design Magazine, about the brand new issue, the fall issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, which is out right now. And here's Christy to talk about our cover story for the fall issue.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, we're particularly excited about this fall cover story on Joel Smith and Carlos Evans, the leaders of Spoleto. They let us into their downtown home, and it's actually pretty unusual for us. We get to see Mount Pleasant and Daniel Island and Kiowa, but this was particularly exciting since it was historical. And we got to talk to them about their involvement in Spoleto and what they plan to do moving forward. And they were so generous, and their wives so welcoming. I really think that came through in the story.
And the interesting thing about this, these 2 gentlemen, they are they're board members, they're leaders of the Spoleto Festival. They also happen to share a home. That those 2 gentlemen and their wives share a home downtown. Is that right?
Yes, it's almost split into 2 different apartments, but it was originally the house with a carriage house. So they are separate entities, but one property, and they share that garden as well, which is gorgeous with that pool. So I definitely suggest readers check out that story.
And this is very typical of Charleston Home and Design Magazine, where we seek out community leaders, local celebrities, and take you inside their homes so that people can kind of see what their homes are like, what their lifestyles are like, what their how they decorate their homes and everything. What did you think of their 2 homes?
Well, I thought it was fascinating because they have been friends for so long. You'd think their styles, their personalities would be similar, but in fact, the 2 different homes were very different. One was a carriage home, and that was Carlos Evans' home. And that was very traditional, whereas Joel Smith's home had sort of a flair, international, if you will.
All right, we'll pick up the latest issue of Charleston Home and Design Magazine at home-related companies all over Charleston, and enjoy today's radio show. I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and I want to thank you for listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. Today's radio show is coming to you from Charleston Lighting and Interiors, located at 1640 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in West Ashley. And now we're talking to the owner of Charleston Lighting and Interiors, Brent Smith. How you doing, Brent?
Good, Tim. Thanks.
Good. Brent, tell everybody about Charleston Lighting and Interiors.
Oh, Charleston Lighting is your full-service lighting and interiors showroom. We have the largest showroom in South Carolina and the largest selection of lighting in South Carolina.
Gotcha. And I understand what you mean when you say the largest, because we're in a massive showroom here at Charleston Lighting, and quite a few options for homeowners here.
Well, today's lighting has become fashion, and everybody's taste is different, and so we give the customers a wide selection to suit their taste and needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not overwhelming, and the nice thing about it, about a big showroom this size here at Charleston Lighting and Interiors, is there's lots of elbow room. You've really got it laid out well, where it's not overwhelming for a homeowner, and you get lots of homeowners who come in here to shop for their lightings.
We do. We just want to merchandise and present it in a way where the customer can envision it in their home.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't cram and over stock our display floor. So we just try to present it in a fashionable manner.
Mm-hmm. How is the showroom here at Charleston Lighting and Interiors organized in a particular way? Do you have if you were looking for lighting for your bathroom, is that in a special section, or kind of describe what homeowners will experience when they come here to Charleston Lighting and Interiors?
Well, first of all, we try to stay up with the current fashions. Charleston is a very diverse market. You've got the traditionalists that like the old styles, and we have the art school here, which brings a contemporary or transitional flair to the market. It's a coastal community, and we have the everyday lighting for affordable housing. Mm-hmm. So we display it all and have access to it all. We try to arrange it and merchandise it in a way where the exterior lanterns are grouped together. The mm-hmm. ceiling fans, we've got a great ceiling fan selection. Bath brackets, we've got just walls and walls of bath brackets. We also try to display it in a manner where it's families are grouped, or similar product is grouped together. So we just try to make it appealing to the customer.
Gotcha. And what about the staff here? I mean, obviously a homeowner could probably get lost on their own. You've got lighting consultants that have been specially trained, and how talk about how they help homeowners.
Well, we do have a seasoned group of salespeople. They've been in the business a long time. They are American Lighting Association certified lighting specialists. They take the try to interpret the customer's needs and taste, mm-hmm. and provide the lighting according to that.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like I'm noticing, one of your lighting consultants is walking around with a homeowner, and they've got their plans here. Not always is an architect or a home designer might not lay out the exact plan for, say, recessed lighting and so forth. Is that something that how involved do your lighting consultants get with helping the homeowner with a takeoff like that?
Well, we can get as involved as you want us to. I mean, sometimes we don't even have a set of plans, and we go out and to the house under construction and lay it out based on ceiling heights and room sizes and applications. And we can take a set of plans and we can lay it out according to that, or we can take a complete set of plans, mm-hmm. and do the takeoff and make recommendations accordingly. So we can do it all. Yeah,
because the last thing that you especially would want is for a homeowner to have a poorly lit home after doing business with Charleston Lighting. So how do you avoid that? I mean, how do your consultants go to the house itself to walk around and look at where the different areas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they'll do it as the house is under construction for any wiring has been pulled. We lay out, we try to find out how the furniture is going to be laid out, laying lighting out according to that. Mm-hmm. And just using the principles and the guidelines that we've learned over the years and through the various seminars and training and certifications that we've gone through to light a home appropriately.
How much, there's the functionality of lighting, but then there's the, the decorative aspect. How often do you turn over the lighting here? Like, for example, there's certain lighting that I guess maybe isn't selling, and so you'll kind of take that down and put something else new up. How often do the displays change here?
Oh, we watch and manage the inventory very closely, and we see what is turning, what is not turning. What's not turning, we'll leave the market down and get rid of it and bring in something fresh and new. So yeah, and as I said, lighting has become fashion, and we go to the market twice a year to see what the latest and greatest styles are, and we bring them in and to offer to our customers. So yeah, we keep the inventory fresh.
This has been a number of years since I've heard an interior designer say this, but 10 years ago or so, I remember hearing a couple of interior designers say that they would go to Atlanta or Charlotte to pick out their different aspects of the house, not necessarily just lighting. But is there any reason why a homeowner would need to leave Charleston? I mean, would Charleston Lighting and Interiors be able to, even if you didn't have a particular style of light, would you be able to get that for a customer?
Absolutely. If they can't find it here, we can get it for them. We obviously we can't display all our vendors' product cover to cover. We have a great website, charlestonlightinginteriors.com, that we have an online catalog that has tens of thousands of lights that the customer can search and narrow the search down based on the type of light and the type of style that they want. So yeah, if we don't have it, we can get it.
Gotcha. Well, what is hot? What are hot sellers? What kind of trends are you seeing in the lighting industry these days?
Well, it's like I say, Charleston is very diverse, so we have to offer a lot of different styles. Other markets, it may be more of a traditional market, so we can narrow the product down. But I guess what we're seeing is a lot of trending towards energy efficient lighting. That can be done in several different ways. We have options for all different, different applications for energy efficient lighting. The technology for that is changing rapidly. For 100 years, the light bulb never changed, and now it's changing. And so,
how is it changing?
Well, over the last couple of years, the A lamp, as we in the industry call it, the standard light bulb, as most consumers know it, is being phased out. It is it's 95% heat, 5% light, so it's a very inefficient light source.
That's what cooks the little cakes in the Easy Bake Oven,
that's
right?
Exactly what they used. But it's also a very inexpensive light source, and some of the repellents are the most you're probably most familiar with the Curly Q compact fluorescents. They are more energy efficient. Some people don't like the color of the light. The longevity may not be what it's advertised. The dimmability of the lamp can be difficult. So it's not a perfect solution. But what we're seeing also is the evolution of the LED, light emitting diode lamp, and right now there's several really good applications for that. Under counter, recess, the replacement bulb LED is coming and getting better every day, and it's getting less expensive every day. It uses just a minuscule amount of electricity. And if you really run the numbers, you can pay back the cost, the cost of the LED in just a few years. So it's becoming more and more attractive. So we see we're keeping up to date with that, and we have a great selection of the LED, and be glad to educate the customers on
Sure.
the benefits of the LED lamp.
So homeowners are more concerned about energy efficiency of their lighting, and I don't even want to ask you what your power bill is here with all these lights that you have on. Did you turn these off at night?
Oh yeah, we do. Oh,
that's
we,
good.
We try to turn certain ones on and off during the day. But you have to show it lit to be
Yeah,
able to sell it.
of course.
And we do use a lesser wattage lamp in most of the fixtures, so
Sure.
it's not quite as energy inefficient as it could be.
Right. Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with Charleston Lighting and Interiors.
Well, we've been here for over 10 years. We're in West Ashley, 1640 Sam Ritten Boulevard. You can contact us by phone, via email. We have a great website, as I mentioned, charlestonlightingandinteriors.com. But we'd love to be able to serve you.
Good deal. All right. Well, we have been talking with Brent Smith with Charleston Lighting and Interiors, and special thanks to Charleston Lighting and Interiors for hosting today's radio show. Thanks so much, Brent.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today's radio show is coming to you from Charleston Lighting and Interiors, located at 1640 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in West Ashley. And now we're talking with Michael Shiver with Permacoat of Charleston. How you doing, Michael?
I'm great, Tim. Thanks for having me back again.
Sure. Michael, take a moment and tell everybody about Permacoat of Charleston.
Permacoat of Charleston, we're a locally owned and operated, family-owned Charlestonian business. The painting is the primary. We do a number of products, but the Permacoat is a painting company. We're the authorized Texcoat dealer. Texcoat is a internationally used, high-end, high-quality, commercial government-grade coating that has eventually dwindled down into the residential market. But the bottom line for the homeowners is you paint one time, don't paint again. It's got a lifetime warranty. It's very thick, very high-tech. It's got a lot of additives and high-tech ingredients that make it last 40, 45 years. So once you paint, you don't have to paint again.
What kinds of problems have you encountered that with homeowners? What kinds of painting problems do they have that you've experienced and helped them with over the years?
In the Charleston market, which is where we are, there's high humidity, salt in the air, mildew, mold and mildew. But the elements around here, like anywhere else, but we have a lot of humidity, which isn't good to paint.
Why isn't it good for paint?
It doesn't last as long. Some of the products in some of the big name paint stores, they'll say they have a real long warranty, but they really can't stand up to some of the elements around here. We also have to deal with lead in the paint. Lead was a great additive, except it's poisonous, so that's kind of why paint doesn't last as long as it used to. Direct sunlight, salt in the air, high humidity, mold, mildew, those are the main things. Direct sunlight's a real a big problem. But typically paint jobs will last, depending on how well they were prepped and applied, around 4 to 7 years. It's typically what a paint job will last you, a good paint job. But Texcoat is designed to go about 40 years. So if you're planning on living in a house or making an investment where you don't have to paint again, it is an investment in doing so. We also will put any type other paint that anybody wants. Texcoat has a very, well, it's not really strict, but it's a very thorough application. There's steps that we follow that a good painter would follow, but ours are pretty meticulous. The prep process probably runs longer than the actual paint application, so we can prep it so we don't have to come back.
What about because I've bought national brand paint in the past, and you look at the label on the paint can, it says 25-year warranty, and then after 5 years, 7 years, the house or the garage needs to be painted again. And I think back, what's the deal? I bought paint that's supposed to last 25 years, has a 25-year warranty. If I went back to that paint store and said, hey, my paint is not having these problems with it, what are they going to say with regards to that 25-year warranty?
I've had several people had that same problem where they say, I haven't, there are rules that you're supposed to go by as far as when you get that warranty from the paint manufacturers. I haven't heard anybody who's actually followed through with doing it, but I think one of the steps is you have to have a Sherman or whatever. There's all kinds of paints, all kinds of paint stores, but you have to have one of their factory reps come out to your house, look at it, look at the paint job, talk to the painters. They actually have to somewhat hands-on in the application process. And nobody really does that. So when you call the paint rep out there and you say, hey, this happened, say, well, we didn't check it out. And it's the paint is, the labor is really where the cost is. The paint does cost money. A lot of times the paint manufacturer will say, okay, well, here's your paint. You need about 2 gallons. Here you go. And it's not much off of them. But that homeowner has to get the labor done, which is the real. It's the hard part, and painters aren't going to come back typically and do that unless there's some kind of strong warranty. With the TexCoat warranty, it is both the materials as well as the labors included, and we're actually bonded to have to go back and fix any problems that anybody has. But
have you ever had to do that? Have you ever had to go back
Sure.
to a homeowner's house?
Sure. Some of the problems that we run into, we don't have catastrophic failures. It's usually spots on banister rails or porch rails where perhaps the dude hadn't dried, and there's just we'll scrape it back down, or the primer didn't adhere. Could be bird droppings are one of the reasons, a grease, stuff that you don't see on there when you apply it. For some reason or another, the primer doesn't adhere. Or if it doesn't happen with us because we're pretty meticulous, but if somebody primes and then paints too soon, it doesn't give the primer time to adhere. So there's a bunch of, it's my number one goal to not have to go back to somebody's house and fix it, because I'm on the hook for it. That homeowner has put the investment in, and we've gone out there and done our job, and I've paid the crews. They are our crews, by the way, and not subs. I've paid them, and for me to have to go back and fix something on my own coin, it's not what I want to do. So it's in my best interest to do it right the first time, so I don't have to come back.
What so TexCoat from Permacoat of Charleston, is that it's not a do-it-yourself product? You can't buy the TexCoat paint. We
cannot. They might be able to get it from them. They don't sell at any retail stores. I can't sell it to anybody. TexCoat, it's been around since '61, and they're very, very interested in keeping their reputation pristine. So they don't sell the product. You have to use an authorized dealer to put it on to be able to get the warranty. But it is a very it's a meticulous, thorough process of the application, and they just want it done right so nobody can run around and say TexCoat doesn't work. So they're just trying to control the results of the product.
Are there any particular colors? And this is we're talking about the exterior of a house. When we were building our house, we tried to educate ourselves as much as possible. We learned a term, light reflective value. And so, is there any particular color that will last longer on the exterior of a house versus another?
Well, TexCoat has a IR reflective tint that's why TexCoat has a product called Cool. That's what we actually put on people's homes. It's got an IR reflective tint in it. The Department of Energy in Oak Ridge, Tennessee uses this coating as their coatings to try to, I think it's called the Zero Project. They're trying to take a house off the grid, and the TexCoat product, the Cool Wall, is the product that's on there. They're using geothermal, solar, insulated windows, insulated walls, etc. And TexCoat is that exterior product because it actually does kick off heat. It's got, and I don't know of any other paints out there that have a no fade warranty, but TexCoat has a 10-year no fade. Eventually, the sun is going to, the ultraviolet rays are going to get to it, but it's 10 years. No fade. After that, it still has a gradual fade, but it's not like it just turns white. The darker the colors, in basic paints, no matter whose paint you use, the darker colors typically are going to take more heat and more infrared. I actually have a light heat meter gun with a little laser on it. You can shoot different surfaces. And on somebody's porch, I'm just kind of trying to show them the difference in using a dark color versus a white. The white may be 90 degrees to the surface temperature in direct sunlight, and then go over to the black or the Charleston green or a color, and it jumps up to about 140 degrees. So if you just think about it baking 50 degrees hotter during the daytime, it just ages it, makes it where quicker.
So same rule applies like when you wear a dark shirt on a hot
Correct.
day. You're going to get more heat than if you wore a white or a yellow shirt or something.
It gets hotter. We still guarantee all the colors of even the Charleston greens have that lifetime warranty. It's just one of the additives. There's a bunch of other high-tech additives that I'll be glad to go over with somebody in person, but for your benefit, it would be a science
Well,
class.
Permacoat of Charleston, besides the painting side of your business, you also do a few other things. Tell our listeners about that.
Basically, it's exterior. Other than we do some of that, the high-tech foil insulation that goes in attics. But we also do gutter screens to keep the pine needles and oak leaves and such out of the gutters. So we do new replacement gutters as well as just screens for existing gutters. We also do window replacement. That's a large part of our business. We can get almost any line of windows, but we've got a new EcoView windows, and they're very affordable. I guess the best thing about them as far as the pricing is they come directly from the factory. A lot of people in this market and other markets, they're going through wholesalers. Our products come direct from the factory, so you're not having to pay that middleman for no reason. The guy who started it is Mr. Slocum. He's dead now, but his son's running it. But he was one of the innovators, the four main innovators in the vinyl window business. So there's a lot of technology in it. They're very energy efficient. They also have a lifetime warranty as far as the latches, the vinyl, the locks, even the seals in the windows. You'll see some of the older windows, they're fogged up. Mm-hmm. That's because that seal between the two panes has dried up and air's gotten into them, but that's even warranted as well. So it's a very good affordable window. They start at $199, and I know red flags go up when people say, "Oh yeah, it's a bait and switch," but that's your basic window, and then you could get options up from there, whether you want grids or high energy efficient class or whatever else. But we're glad to give you a free estimate for that as well.
Good deal. Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with Permacoat of Charleston.
You can go to permacoatofcharleston.com or permacoat.biz. Either one will get you there. Or just pick up the phone, 763-4562. EcoView Windows is also online, but 763-4562 would be a direct line.
All right, great. Well, we have been talking with Michael Shiver with Permacoat of Charleston. Thanks so much, Michael.
I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today's radio show is coming to you from Charleston Lighting and Interiors, located at 1640 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in West Ashley. And now we are talking with Trudy Mercy Brown with Blue Copper Interiors. How you doing, Trudy?
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Doing great.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Well, Trudy, tell everybody about Blue Copper Interiors.
Blue Copper Interiors is focusing primarily on residential design, everything from furniture to new construction and remodeling, wall coverings, lighting, flooring, kitchen and bath, you name it. Or if you just need help tweaking a few things, Blue Copper can assist in that regard as well.
Gotcha. Now, try to clarify this for our listeners. You are an interior designer, right?
That's right. I've been in interior design for over 20 years now, but that doesn't date me. I stay up on current events and styles and trends, and but I have had a need to be able to offer clients more variety. I've done a wide variety of things in my background, and just want to help people pull everything together.
Mm-hmm. Well, for people out there who may not know exactly what an interior designer is or what they do, you know, the thing that kind of comes to mind a lot of times is they can help you arrange your furniture in your house or something like that. Or what is an interior designer, and how do you help homeowners? You're a consultant, right?
I am a consultant, and so whether they're moving or remodeling, whether they're just wanting to change things in their existing home, a lot of people just don't really know how to go about selecting furniture or what to put on their windows or assisting them with selecting the appropriate flooring for a particular room. There are a lot of things to take into consideration, not only cost, but quality, how you want to use that room, who's going to be using that room, and so forth. There's just a lot of thought that goes into putting it together so that it works well for the way the room functions.
Yeah, so Trudy Mercy Brown with Blue Copper Interiors, you consult with homeowners. For example, if a homeowner, and what homeowner out there wouldn't want their house to look like it could be in one of the shelter magazines, Coastal Living magazine or Charleston Home and Design magazine. But not every homeowner has the ability to create a look in their home like that. And so that's where you at Blue Copper Interiors, homeowners hire you and they pay you on an hourly basis or a project per project basis. How does that work?
Each project is a little bit different, and everybody's needs are a little bit different. I can work by the hour, I can put together a design package, or I can do it by the project with a flat fee. And generally what I do is in the initial meeting, I discuss what their needs are, and then I come up with an estimate of time that it would take to accomplish the goals they're trying to accomplish in their home. And with that, I can either price it by the hour or price it as a flat fee so that they know in the end this is exactly how much it's going to cost them.
So, for example, we're here at Charleston Lighting and Interiors. Somebody's building a new house. They don't want to make a mistake and buy the wrong lighting fixture or the wrong ceiling fan. They want to make sure that everything is going to flow from room to room and everything is going to be the right choice. Otherwise, they're going to be kind of wasting money. And so I'm sure you have accompanied homeowners to lighting stores and to tile stores and to flooring stores to help the homeowner, assist the homeowner in picking out the different products for their home.
That's correct. There's so many choices out there now, and sometimes the homeowner just gets totally overwhelmed with so many decisions to make, and they may not consider what type of light bulb it uses or how much energy it's going to consume, or with flooring how durable it's going to be, or the cleanability. There's so much out there on the market that it can just be overwhelming, and unless you work in the industry and you work with these things on a regular basis, it just takes so much research.
Yeah, and of course, Charleston Lighting, like a lot of other home stores around Charleston, they have consultants here that offer free advice for homeowners. The only problem with that is a lighting consultant isn't looking at the whole picture, the entire house, and how everything's going to flow from room to room, and the other aspects, the countertops and the flooring and the paint colors and everything. They're not necessarily going to be able to offer the same quality advice that an interior designer like Mercy Brown at Blue Copper Interiors can. Well,
and with that being said, though, I will say I do appreciate the lighting experts here, because it is an industry that's changing very fast, and it's hard to keep up with if you don't specialize in it. So they definitely play a big role in even working with the designer and the client together. But yes, in order to tie the house together and have everything work and flow smoothly and be consistent, and not just a hodgepodge or piecemeal, they specialize in that one area where I can help the homeowner pull it all together.
And I've always heard this, you tell me if this is accurate, an interior designer can actually help a homeowner save money by maybe maybe avoiding mistakes, purchasing mistakes and things like that?
Exactly. And I've seen so many times people would pay, for example, a painter to come in and paint a room based on their judgment from a little 2-inch chip of paint sample, and then the room gets painted. They've invested in the materials, they've invested in the labor, and it just doesn't work, and they hate it. And so then they have to start over. So all that money was wasted, and that's just one example. A lot of times, for example, when someone is moving, they may be moving into a totally different style house, from something very traditional to here at the coast. We have more low country styles and beach homes and that kind of thing. And they may feel like, oh, well, their very traditional Queen Anne dining room set doesn't really work in this house. However, if you think about it, if it's a really good quality piece of furniture, you might be better off painting it and changing the look of it to fit into your new setting versus trying to go out and buy a whole new set of furniture. Because when you sell old furniture, you don't get much for used furniture. You can consign it or sell it on Craigslist or something like that, but you don't get much for it, and then you turn it around and investing a whole new set when there could have been a way to repurpose what you already had if you just came up with the idea. And sometimes homeowners are so used to seeing it a certain way, they can't visualize it a different way.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of moving, that's something that you at Blue Copper Interiors, you can help homeowners as they're making a move from an older their previous home to their new house, right?
Exactly. It's very important when you're moving not only to think about boxes, which I've actually seen people not label any boxes, end up with a garage full of boxes and they don't know what's in anything. So, but also take an inventory of everything that you have and think about where you're going to use it in the new house prior to moving day. It's so many times I see people just throw things in the house thinking, well, we'll rearrange it later, and later never happens. Mm-hmm. And so it compromises the way they live in their home and enjoy their home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a great tip, but I know that there's some listeners out there who are saying, oh, that's a great idea, but I'm never going to, where am I going to find the time to go through and inventory everything in my house? Could they hire you to do that?
Absolutely. I do that. I'm working with a couple right now who has a home under construction, and we just went through and inventoried what they have. I actually measure each piece and take a picture of it and use their floor plan for their new home to help them decide where they can place things and how things are going to fit in the room. Especially if someone's downsizing, this extra oversized furniture is not going to fit in their room the same way it did before. They may or may not be able to use it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, and speaking of things that fit, you would also be able to help homeowners, for example, if they were going to make a purchase online or something like that. A lot of times homeowners make mistakes by trying to purchase something online and save themselves a little money, and then that ends up costing them a lot, right?
That's for sure. There's so many times that people just don't take the scale of something into consideration, or the clearances they need around pieces of furniture to be able to maneuver safely through the space. And so that's one thing we can help with as well.
It when it comes right down to it, it's like hiring an interior designer like Trudy Mercy Brown is like having an advocate, somebody who you can bounce ideas off, and maybe you can bounce ideas off your husband or your wife, but they're not an expert in this, and ultimately you want your house to look like $1 million, and if you want that, if you want your house to look like it could be in one of the national home magazines or something like that, I guarantee 100% of those pictures in Architectural Digest or Coastal Living magazine, those houses, there was an interior designer involved with those houses, right?
I'm sure there was. But at the same time, it's not even if you want your house to be a show house. You just want it to be comfortable for you and with pieces that will work well in your family, your lifestyle, whether you're an empty nester, whether you have a house full of kids. The durability, the quality, and all of that goes into play. Even if you don't necessarily want it to look like a show house for a magazine, you want it to be something that you enjoy coming home to every day.
Right, and people are so stressed they have lack of time. Everybody's really, really busy. Hire an interior designer to help you with whatever project you have around the house. And how can folks get in touch with you, Trudy Mercy Brown, at Blue Copper Interiors?
My website is bluecopperinteriors.com. Telephone number is 843-224-9822, or email address is trudy@bluecopperinteriors.com.
Okay, well, we have been talking with Trudy Mercy Brown with Blue Copper Interiors. Thanks so much, Trudy.
Thanks for having me.
If you're just joining us, I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today's radio show is coming to you from Charleston Lighting and Interiors, located at 1640 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in West Ashley. And now we're talking with Alicia Kennard with Artistic Design and Construction. How you doing, Alicia?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Tell everybody about Artistic Design and Construction.
I am a local custom home builder. We're a design build firm. We have the ability to take your ideas and from a napkin to actual home construction and moving in. But we also will build primarily the goal is to build a house. I just found that I couldn't build it if we didn't have plans. So if somebody has a set of plans they want to bring in for us to bid, we would love to do that. That'll save me some energy. But we have been for over 10 years in the Charleston area. My dad was a builder and helped get the company started. And he has since retired, but have a great team of people together to help and assist in home construction.
Gotcha. So your dad was a builder. You grew up in the building industry, kind of in his shadow, so to speak?
A little bit. He was first in the military, and then he got his building license later on in the transition. But my first job out of college was selling solar energy systems, when that was the first big boom on all of that stuff.
And so Artistic Design and Construction is a woman-owned business. You're the president
It is.
of Artistic Design and Construction. And how did the name come about, Artistic Design and Construction?
I have an art background, which is just basically fine arts and painting and drawing and all of those things. And it applies to what we're doing in the design end of it, in the home design and in the construction. A lot of people will come to us and I'll do things that'll help them as far as interior colors and trying to help put stuff together. A lot of times I'll go to the tile store or whatever. We will work with anybody's, if they have a designer they want to work with, that's great. But we can help. It's not a formal thing. It's not, but a lot of times people will see another home we've done and they like those colors. So what was that? How did you do that? And we just kind of play off of that stuff.
How, from a homeowner's point of view, are there any advantages to working with a woman-owned builder?
I think it's maybe a softer touch. I think that I look at the package in a way that maybe some men don't, because I'm looking at how you're going to live in the house, how everything's going to flow. We a lot of times will take it to the level where we're putting furniture, we're kind of trying to do some preliminary things about how something's going to lay out. And the reason I get keyed on that is not because I want to do the interior design part, but it's important that we be able to take maybe I need to move a window. Maybe the design of the room needs to be bigger because you have things you need in there, and if we don't all that up front, it can be a problem. I have had architects who will bring us a set of plans, and then if I get it in 3D, because that's part of our service, is that we can do kitchens or whatever, certain rooms, even if we already have the plans coming from somebody else. But when we get it in 3D, a lot of times people don't realize what they had, and so it will make a modification early on, as opposed to having somebody walk in their house and it not be what they anticipated once it's built.
How long has Artistic Design and Construction been around?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. How many about how many homes has Artistic Design and Construction built in that time?
I believe we're 60 to 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
60 to 70 custom homes. And Artistic Design and Construction, do you folks also help homeowners with remodeling and renovations?
I do. I have one remodel / addition that we're working on right now that's pretty large over on James Island, and that's a lot of fun. It's a whole different mindset. It is very different than doing new construction. But it's way more challenging, and it's way more interesting to see what you're going to find when you open up that wall.
Right. Sometimes it's a good surprise, and sometimes it's a bad surprise.
Sometimes you just don't know what that guy did before you.
Right. Yeah, I've got an example of that. My first house was built in 1912, and sometime probably in the 50s they put up this ugly ceiling tile. and I never liked it, and I wanted to tear it down, and the contractor I was working with said, don't do it. There's a reason they put that up. Well, I tore it down, and lo and behold, there's all this beautiful beadboard that somebody must have said they didn't like that beadboard look, and, you know, who wouldn't like to have beadboard on their ceiling?
Right. Well, you lucked out, that's for sure.
That was one of those lucky times.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, you've at Artistic Design and Construction, you folks have got some. You have achieved some different certifications. Tell our listeners about that.
I am a certified master builder, which is granted through the Home Builders Association of South Carolina. It is a designation that means that our company have been vetted for homeowner reviews, bank references. They've checked credit references with trade vendors, and they've also done some actual inspections on homes constructed. So it was done by a third-party review process, and it just really means that we've gone the extra mile. It means it also requires us to maintain continuing education every year, which I believe in anyway. It's not there's always something new happening in this industry. There's always something coming out. In this year, we have had 2 code changes, one of which was in January, which was where we went to the 2009 Energy Code. South Carolina's, we adopt things a little bit slower than some other areas of the country. And then in July, we went to the 2012 International Residential Code. So those are all things that it may be a minor modification, but it can be something that's just, at the end, you come down, you didn't do one thing right, you're paying the piper. So we try to make sure we dot all the I's and cross the T's in everything that we do. We work really hard to have a process as we're going through construction. I ask a lot of questions, so I go into everything that goes into the house pretty early on, so we have a really good feel for how it's going together. The other certification that I have is a certified green professional. That's through the National Association of Home Builders. And again, it's an educational process, and it means that we are also very, very keyed into energy efficiency, which is important, but it also goes into some habitability things as far as indoor air quality. If somebody has allergies or they have some reason to be concerned about air, it might be that people it's formaldehyde or it's just dust, but those are things that we put into our questions as we're trying to make sure that the house fits the homeowner.
Gotcha. What kinds of projects is Artistic Design and Construction working on these days?
Right now, we're closing out 2 homes that are coastal elevated homes, one of which is in a V zone out on James Island.
New construction homes?
Those are both new construction homes. The other is up in Hanahan. We have the big addition remodel that we're working on James Island. I'm also talking with starting work in Beresford Hall, over off of Clements Ferry. We've got some stuff in Rivertown and Dunes West that we're working on plans. And then some actually under construction right now is 4 that are continuing in the 2 that we're finishing out.
Oh, great. Okay, so if a homeowner is looking to build a house, if they are looking to remodel a house, Artistic Design and Construction can help.
We can.
All right. Well, how can folks get in touch with Artistic Design and Construction?
I'm Alicia Kennard, and I'm the owner. Our office the phone number is 843-573-2444, and my email address is alicia@artisticdesignandconstruction.com, all spelled out. I didn't get the cheap version of that.
Right. Well, it'd be hard to find initials for all of that, so I understand. Well, good deal. Well, we have been talking with Alicia Kennard with Artistic Design and Construction. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today's radio show is coming to you from Charleston Lighting and Interiors, located at 1640 Sam Rittenberg Boulevard in West Ashley. And now we're talking with Alan Wheeler with Coastal Design Builders. How you doing, Alan?
Great, Tim.
Good. Alan, take a moment and tell everybody about Coastal Design Builders.
Coastal Design Builders does custom homes and remodeling, and Alan, me as the owner, has been doing both for about 26 years. And I'm a design build firm, which means that I can to walk through the process of designing a custom home, modify existing plans, do an addition like a sunroom or a screen porch. Anything that a homeowner desires, I can utilize their plans or help them with designing new ones.
Gotcha. And design build, I can guess what that means, but define that for our listeners.
A lot of builders and a lot of high quality builders will meet with a homeowner and say, do you have plans that I can bid? And I've found, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years, since things slowed down for everybody, including the homeowners, and what they felt they could do, they'll say, well, yes, I have plans. For the few that do, the builder will take the plans and bid on that, might be bidding against a couple of other builders. But then somebody might say, well, I don't have plans. And so can you help me design a plan, an addition, whatever it is, or a kitchen remodel? And I'll say, yes, I have resources. I can help you do that. So then I begin that process of designing and then pricing the project, and then seeing if it meets a budget and if they want to build with me.
Mm-hmm. I've always heard also about the advantages of design build is sometimes an architect might design the house a particular way, and there's lots of different ways you can build a house, but sometimes the architect sometimes the builder might have maybe a better way or a way that can save the homeowner some money. So sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, and being a design build firm, all of those decisions are made under one roof, right?
Precisely, Tim. The builder is pricing jobs all the time and knows current costs for all the elements that might go into, well, we'll say a custom home. And an architect is aware of trends, probably not what current studs and sheathing and shingles and other things cost. And sometimes they will design what a homeowner wants, but there's not a lot of discussion about a budget. So because I know costs, frankly, I ask the homeowner up front, you want to, let's say, redo a kitchen. And if you tell me that for $15,000 you think you can redo a whole kitchen, I would say up front, no, we can't. But if they say maybe $30,000 based on how large the kitchen is, that's more realistic, and I will tell them that, and then begin looking at choices that will meet that budget.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And when you just threw out a couple of figures, 15,000 versus 30,000, how are you basing that? Is that just on your experience over the years and knowing what the cost of tearing out a kitchen and replacing it with new cabinets and appliances and lighting and flooring and all of that?
Yes, that's where the 26 years of experience comes in. But for instance, I'm doing a project right now I just began where a homeowner had existing cabinets and they were 15 years old, but actually the design was very traditional. So they didn't need to tear out all those, but they had no island, and it was a very large kitchen. So we figured out the cost to add an island, switch out countertops from a laminate to granite, a little lighting change, a little floor refinishing. So in that case, when they gave me their budget, I was able to determine that, sure, that's realistic for doing that part as compared to, let's say, tearing out all the cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's your role as the builder? Let's talk about that particular project you just referred to, the kitchen. What has your role been, with in the entire process?
As a licensed South Carolina builder, my role is I'm really the word that comes to mind is the homeowner's advocate. Most homeowners don't know where to begin. They've heard of war stories from friends or family about how things can go awry, and so my role is several elements. One is to educate them on the process so they don't feel lost, and that alleviates a lot of fear. Then in the design process, offer suggestions as part of design, then bringing to them costs. And then after the project begins, then my role is instead of, let's say, sending them to various places like in here, Charleston Lighting or a kitchen cabinet store, I will go to the store with them, the different stores, and help them pull together the elements. So actually, I'm helping with the whole project, and that's that extra hat called construction designer. Now, I'm not an interior decorator. I don't do furniture and those kinds of additions, but the tile, the lighting, the cabinets, things like that. I will help them if they want it to make decisions.
Mm-hmm. What kinds of besides that kitchen remodel you just mentioned, what kinds of projects is Coastal Design Builders working on these days?
Well, from your show about a month or so ago, I met quite a few people, and there were perhaps a dozen that were in various stages of wanting to build a custom home. Probably half or more had lots already. Some were in the process of buying lots. And so I've been meeting with a couple of people about custom home design and projects, and then also on the remodeling end, kitchen remodel. Yesterday, another kitchen remodel, then an addition of 2 rooms off the back. I'm meeting actually later this afternoon with someone who wants a 2-car garage. So a lot of different things that people want to do. Well, actually, and I should mention another was a whole house remodel. Mm-hmm. They want to buy the house and move walls around, and new flooring, new sheetrock, new kitchen, new everything. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, we've got about a minute left, Alan, but I wanted to tell our listeners about Ask Alan Anything. Just tell our listeners about that.
Well, Ask Alan Anything originally came from a radio show that I'd done out of town probably 5 years ago, and realized that people just didn't know what direction to go in. And so on this radio show, they would email me ahead of time, and I would answer their questions between custom homes and remodeling. And so I made that my email address, askalananything@yahoo.com. So I'm trying to really utilize that Ask Alan as a resource, that I'm a resource for people to ask whatever they want, and no cost or obligation.
That's great. That's great. And besides Ask Alan Anything at yahoo.com, how can folks get in touch with Coastal Design Builders?
Well, my phone number is 843-300-9383. Also have a new website, which is www.coastaldesignbuilders.com, and I've got pictures and history and a lot of other information that one could find about the company.
That's great. Okay, well, we have been talking with Alan Wheeler with Coastal Builders. Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm talking about a home. Talking about me and you. The things we'll do. I said a home. I'm not talking about a one-night stand. I want to be your man. I said a home.
You've been listening to Talking About a home show on the radio. Talking About a Home is brought to you by the publishers of Charleston Home and Design magazine and the organizers of the Charleston Home and Design Show and the Custom Home and Remodel Show. To make contact with any of the companies featured today, visit newhomecharleston.com, Charleston's online home show, and home to over 200 local home-related companies motivated to work with you.